So yes, it runs. A couple people didn't think this thing actually ever ran. Well, it does run. It's the wintertime. It never gets used in the wintertime. Which brings me to my next point. It has four-wheel drive, it has a bed, it's a pickup truck. Yes, it can be used in the wintertime. But the way this vehicle is set up, this is more of a competition vehicle. It's got a lot of horsepower, and I want to keep it as nice as possible for as long as possible. So therefore, I don't use this truck like once it starts getting down to, 40s, 50s, when it starts snowing and they put crap all over the roads. With this amount of horsepower, I don't use this thing in the wintertime. This thing sits and gets, modified in the wintertime for next year. So if this was a car doing that in any other circumstance, everyone would just be like, oh, it's a summer car, no big deal, But seeing that it's a truck, everybody likes to hate on it and say, if it's a pickup truck, it should be used all year round. Well, this is just my muscle car. This is my competition vehicle that I just use when I want to. Yes, it still gets used on the street, but not during the wintertime. Hopefully that clears some of that up. So tonight, obviously we're in the garage. What are we doing? Let me tell you. Like I've mentioned plenty of times before, this is a 2005, and Dodge Ram in 03 to 05 have this specific front end style and headlight style. They changed that from 06 to 09 to more of a square headlight style like my other truck. Most people know, some of you may not, but you can actually interchange the front clip, kind of just like Ford's, and that's what we're going to be doing. Another big change that I'm going to be doing this winter for next season is to change the front clip to that 06 to 09 front style clip. Nothing really wrong with this. I just honestly am bored of the look. I've had this truck for such a long time that, the 03 to 05 has never really been my favorite. I've always preferred the 06 to 09. So we're going to change up the look a little bit, and we're going to start taking the front clip apart, and I'll show you guys exactly what we're doing. And as you guys can see, like I mentioned before on my my build update last time, the forces are still here. Obviously, good old Craigslist and people that seem to be interested but never have any money strikes yet again. I know everybody knows what I'm talking about that. So the first thing we're going to get started with is taking the front headlights out. Most people know this, but obviously there's two bolts right here in the front, and then there's another bolt right underneath here. Once that bolt in the back is out, it pretty much just pulls right out. It's always a good idea if you got a towel to try and wedge something in between there, because you can scratch the lower part of your bumper there pretty easily. These headlights are from Recon. I've gotten that question a couple times, so it's actually gorecon.com. Whatever you do, don't go to recon.com. Or do, if you're into that kind of sort of thing. Same procedure on this side. You got a little like plastic Phillips. Next up, after the headlights, we're going to start by taking this passenger front fender off. So you got two bolts hiding down in there. You got the bolts right along this seam, so 1, 2, and then 3. And then there's one bolt all the way on the bottom there. Take those bolts off, I believe, and that should pop right off. You also have to disconnect the antenna from that side as well. So that's pretty much it for the bumper. The top valance, you can see you got two bolts there right on the side. And then actually you saw me take that front step out. That front step actually clips in to these right here. So you got to undo that top pad and those top bolts, and then that thing actually just pops right out. The bottom, I actually had put in some extra bolts to secure it, but really that, I believe, is actually only held in, maybe 2 on the side, but that thing is kind of push clipped in, kind of just like the top step pad. You almost got to squeeze the things before you take them out. And I also took out the front fog light covers because the Laramie bumper that we're going to be putting on here kind of fits in that. So everything that I've seen online, because I've actually never done this before, so everything that I've looked into and seen is that the Laramie 06 bumper will actually fit right over top of this one, and you can actually just keep this 05 crash bar in there, and then the other thing will just slide over top of that. So I don't know for sure, I've never done it, but that's the plan. So next up, I'm going to remove the driver's side fender and the fender liner. On the other side, I actually already had the liner removed, so I'm going to remove the liner, then the fender, and then we're also going to take off the grill and the grill support as well. So that's pretty much it for that side. You can see the bolt up top there by the wiper cowl gave me a little bit of a hard time, so I actually had to take the wiper cowl completely off. All the wiper cowls really held in by are 2 of those Torx bolts on one on each side, and then those pop rivet clips that you can kind of see that just have to be kind of pried up. And then you can see it kind of took a little bit of finagling. It's kind of like a 2-piece deal, but you can actually get it out with one piece. You just got to kind of be gentle with it. So now we're going to move on to taking the grill out. So I know to change the grill from a 05 style to like that 06 style, you do actually have to change the support as well. So to take the grill off, there's little bolts all around the grill, but if you're actually going to take the support off as well, you can actually just do it all in one piece. So that's what I'm going to do. There's a series of, let me just try to point, here, here, here you can kind of see them very well. And then right here, the hood latch. So if you undo all that and just be careful with it and then undo, there's actually bolts that go across this top seam right here that actually, you can kind of see this one right here, that actually hold the grill to the hood as well. So you got to undo all that stuff and then it'll actually come off all in one piece. You just kind of got to be a little bit more careful with it. So that's it, guys. Everything's off on that side, front bumper, grill. It's kind of a two-handed job. I didn't have time to adjust the camera. I was actually thinking about selling this grill, but I think I might actually just hang on to it, throw it up on the wall, kind of just to always remember this being the first truck that I had ever bought. So another thing I want to do with you guys is I get a lot of questions in the comments. So I think each video I'm going to pick a question and then kind of throw it into the video and maybe show you guys the answer instead of just responding to you. So if you have something that might be easier seen in a question or explained in a question, then maybe I'll throw it in the video. So one of the questions was about my drive pressure gauge, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit about that now. So on this turbo setup, it's very hard to see, seeing that there's 3 turbos in your way, but I run my manifold in a normal, regular, not a flipped up position, just in a normal position. You can kind of see the EGT and the drive pressure hookup. You can see it's the copper coil side on the right hand side. So from the top of the manifold, you can kind of see it wrap down and then go into those coils. This is copper tubing, and then you can kind of see it goes right into the sensor down below there, and then the wiring actually wraps around the back side of the motor and then into the cab. So the whole reason the copper tubing is there is because that's hooked up directly into your exhaust manifold, and obviously that's pretty hot, so that coil actually cools it down enough to where it doesn't mess up the sensor that it's plugged into. So that actually dissipates the heat. So this is just a close-up of the in-cab of how my drive pressure or exhaust back pressure gauge and my overall total boost gauge are put together. They're right next to each other, that way I can monitor exactly what my turbo boost and my exhaust back pressure or drive pressure are doing at the same time, and they're kind of close so I can keep an eye on them. For those of you guys who are not like super familiar, in short, exhaust back pressure or drive pressure is really the pressure, you know, on the exhaust side, and it's really measuring manifold pressure as well. So in a perfect world, a 1-to-1 ratio is kind of what you want. A drive pressure and back pressure gauge is really just to help you determine the efficiency of the turbo setup that you're running. So that's pretty much it for this video. Everything's apart on the front end for the conversion that needs to be. I'm gonna get the new parts ordered up. Hopefully somebody buys these wheels relatively soon so I can get the new ones ordered up. I have plenty more videos to come, upgrades for this thing, upgrades for the other truck. I still am going to do the AirDog install video relatively soon, so look for that. Like I said before, if you have a question, truck related, not truck related, comment down below and I'll try and throw one in each video if it's something that I think like needs a little bit better explanation than just me, you know, giving you guys a response. So as always guys, thanks for watching, subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll see you on the next one.